Hi. It's been a long time for many different reasons, but I'm really, really happy to see you again. And since it's a new year, I thought maybe the best thing to do is give you what you've wanted. Hallelujah, part 2. I've been thinking about the best way to teach this to you, and I think we are going to simplify the left hand a little bit from what you learned in the introduction. The chords, as we talked about, are just a C major chord going to an A minor chord. So to get a feel for how the melody goes, we're going to start with a heartbeat. Bum, 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 bum. If you notice, it's steady, it's constant, and it's easy to follow. The reason we're doing this first is because it's the rhythm of the melody notes. But if you get the rhythm in your body first, it's going to be easier to then translate that to playing. Bum, 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 bum. So I want you to keep tapping along, and I'm going to play the melody notes so you see what I mean. Bum, 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 bum. It's kind of magic, isn't it? The same exact rhythm happens for that entire melody. Now, if you're the kind of person who likes counting and you liked what we did with the 6 count of the introduction, I can show you how that works as well. The only tricky thing about this is that the melody actually starts on beat 6. So when you're counting, you're going to count 5 beats first and then come in on E, which is the first melody note. And don't worry, I'll show you all of these notes, but again, I want to give you a context for everything before we get into all of the details. So getting back to that idea of counting and the 6 count, I want you to just count along with me 1 through 6 over and over in a steady beat, and you'll see how it fits together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a little tricky to keep that counting out. So again, for some of you that might be more thinking than you want to do, and that's perfectly fine. For others, it may make things make a little more sense. So you can choose the way that's right for you. And to keep it easy with this video, I'm going to just go with the heartbeat idea. So if you noticed as I was playing, my hand doesn't really move much. It stays essentially in this same hand position. So how you're going to position your fingers. If you remember that 2 black keys in the middle of the keyboard are your center. This note that we talk a lot about is called middle C, and the music alphabet proceeds from left to right. So in other words, if this is C, this is B, and this is D. We're going to be starting on the note E, which lives to the right of those 2 black keys. So your thumb is going to start here, and each finger is going to play a key in sequential order. So we have E, F, G, A, and B. For those of you who've played before, knowing those note names might help you to stay oriented. And for those of you who are just learning, that's why this song is a good one to start with, because really, if you keep your hand in this same position, you only have to remember which finger plays at any given time. So when we start, we're only going to be using 2 keys, your thumb on E and your middle finger, otherwise known as your 1, 2, 3, third finger on G. E, G, G, G. That's the first part of the heartbeat. The second part also uses 2 keys. Those are G and A. So, G, A, A. Let's put those together. E, G, 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 A. So as you notice, it's really just 3 keys. Now, I probably should have done this a little bit earlier, but this is going to help you as well. What lyrics are you singing when you play these notes? I heard there was a C-gret chord. That's all it is. It's 3 notes played with that heartbeat feel. Let's try it again, and I'll count you in this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I heard there was a C-gret chord. So the good news is that once you've learned that, for the next line, you just repeat it exactly as is. That David played, it pleased the Lord. So as you can see, this song is so beautiful, but very doable, no matter what level of piano you're currently at. If you want to up-level and try the chords you learned in part 1, we're going to do that next. Let's do a little review of the left hand by itself. The 2 chords you need are C major and A minor. So to find those 2 chords, it's similar to what we just did, looking at the 2 black keys and going to the left to find C. Instead of middle C, your left hand is going to be positioned with your pinky on this lower C. And the rest of the chord is just every other key, C, E, and G. So we have this shape, we call that our C chord, and then we're going to take that shape and move it 2 keys to the left. So your pinky ends up on A, your middle finger is on C, and your thumb is on E. Again, forget all about letters and just remember position. You're here, and then you're moving 2 keys to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all you're going to be doing. And again, if you don't want to count, you can think about the right hand heartbeat and what words come with which chord. Why don't I just show you? That might be the easiest way to explain it. Remember, we come in on beat 6 with your E, and that's going to play by itself. And then when we play the next note, G, that goes back to the first beat and the first chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So I kind of stopped counting there just so you could hear it for a moment first, but I do want to show you that count because it may help you to line things up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You probably noticed, right, that the chords, again, always came in on beat 1. And that's pretty typical for pop music, and a lot of music actually. But it does help to make complicated music, or complicated sounding music, a little more understandable. So let's do that one more time without counting, so you can really focus in on what happens when. And that's it for the first part. So I promise you that with a little practicing, maybe right hand by itself, and then left hand finding the chords, you'll be able to put them together fairly easily. Now don't worry, we're not done. From here, the melody doesn't get much more complicated, but the chords in the left hand do. So I'm going to show you those next few chords, and then I'll show you the right hand, and we'll talk about how to put them together. Actually, let me play it first so you can see where we're going. I'll take it again from the beginning. Heard there was a secret chord that David played. It pleased So you might have noticed that our new chords are here, here, and back to where we started. So the way you find the new chord from where you are before that, you're going to be on an A minor chord. And if you notice, your thumb here on E is going to be next to where your pinky is going for the new chord, the F chord. A second way to look at the F chord is that your thumb is on middle C. And again, all of these chords are just every other key. So whichever way your brain likes to think about it, that's the way you should use. Let's go back for a moment to the first two chords, C major and A minor. When we get down to the A minor, we're going to practice going up to the F major. Again, it seems like it's a big jump, but if you just orient your thumb from E up to C, that's one way to do it. Or you could think of the top note of the A minor chord is next to the bottom note of the F chord. From there, it's going to be very easy to find the next chord because it's just one set of keys to the right. It's called a G chord. And after the G chord, you're simply returning back down to your C chord. One of the very cool things about going from G down to C, you might have noticed this, is that your bottom note becomes your top note. In piano, there are always ways to get around the keyboard and always kind of like landmarks that you can use. So I like to give you a variety of those since everyone's brain works a little differently. Okay, are you ready to tackle the entire set of chords from the beginning? I think you are. Let's do that. So we're going to start on C, and I want you to just play the chords while I play the melody so you can hear everything together without having to do everything just yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A minor. Back to C. Back to A minor. Up to F. Up to G. Back to C. So if you like, you can pause the video, you can practice those movements until you're very comfortable with getting from one chord to the next. And when you're ready, we can take a look at the rest of that part of the melody. So let's review the first part that starts on E. E, G, 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 A, repeat, E, G, 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 A. Now, the next part, the part that goes, but you don't really care for music, do ya? We're also using only 3 notes in that second half of the melody. So the first part, the first bum, 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 bum is just a G and an A. But you don't really care for music, do ya? Whoops, I lied. There's an F in there too. But in general, you're really only going to be using these 3 notes and fingers 2, 3, and 4. Let's break that down into one half and the second half. But you don't really care. So that's a little bit easier to see that it's just a G, and then the rest of those notes are A. But you don't really care. And again, if you're following the idea of that heartbeat, it's going to help keep you organized. The last part is for music, do ya? So that one again starts on the G, but instead of going up to the right, it goes down to the left. For music, and then back to the right for do ya. I feel like it's getting a little more complicated than it needs to be. So why don't I give you the count as well to help you follow along. Just like the beginning of this line, it also starts on beat 6. So I'll give you 1 through 5 and then come in on 6 with the G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can practice that right hand until you're comfortable with it. And actually, when you put the left hand chords back in, it may make the right hand feel a little bit easier, a little bit more straightforward to understand. I'll show you what I mean. So remember, we were on C, A minor, and then we've come up to the F major chord. And that's what's going to come in on beat 1. So the melody starts on beat 6. When we move to the second note, we come in with the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know there are a lot of A's going on, but if you remember your count or your heartbeat, you should be able to keep track of them. Let's do it again. Remember, starting on G in the right hand, starting on your F chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's it. So let's go back to the beginning and play through the whole thing, the whole first part of that verse. Left hand is positioned on a C chord, right hand is starting on E with your thumb, and here we go. magic, isn't it? So I feel like that's a good amount to digest for right now. Once you're comfortable with both hands together, you can actually sound really fancy by adding the introduction that you learned before. And again, because this is left hand only, you don't have to worry about the coordination with the right hand, so you can be a little fancier in your left hand at the beginning. You can review the first video, or you can just watch here and maybe it'll all come back to you. Ready? And you can actually, if you want, tack on a little G broken chord at the end. Okay, so I want you to play around with this because again, I know that's a lot of new information that you're going to have to digest and practice and get used to. Have fun with this. Let me know what questions you have, and I look forward to seeing you much sooner than before.